shit. What is going on, everybody? Welcome to Strike Up Beer, quick beer reviews with your pals, Alan, Rapid Dave, and Rapid Dave.
I'm Alan. How's it going, buddy?
It's getting better, I think,
It's
or
getting
worse.
better?
I don't know because, once you have a couple and you start kind of feeling it, your ears get kind of red, rosy in the cheeks and stuff like that. But
next thing you know, you got a little Blink 182 playing in the back of your head. I'm feeling this.
I know, right? This beer, I found this beer about a week ago. This is Lost Hiker out of Ruidoso, New Mexico.
So when you say you found it about a week ago,
I found it in the fridge.
You've had it for a while, but you just found it in your fridge a week ago. Okay.
I actually bought this.
I just want to clarify because this is something that they can there at the brewery.
Yeah.
It's what our boys at a Brutal had very lovingly called an elephant leg.
Yeah. It's real heavy. February 16th, 2025. So it's not an old beer, but it's been a couple months. And I went out there on vacation, but I just, for some reason, we haven't drank it yet, and so there's more beers. And I looked at the other ones. I had some other ones from New Mexico. I was like, man, we got to get to this one. This one, come on, let's get
especially one that they can that there for you, right?
Yeah.
At the time, sometimes these don't hold their carbonation well. It just depends on how good their little canning machine is there, right? Now this is the last check-in on this on Untapped is from March 25th or March 8th, 2025.
You're gonna want to let that sit for just a little.
Yeah, well, it's like a Guinness. I gotta let it settle, and then you can pour the second part of it. There's only 87 total check-ins on this.
Yeah,
74 ratings on Untapped. It's 5.9% alcohol by volume. They got the IBUs as NA. Untapped, it says Classic American West Coast Pale Ale. Average score of 3.57 out of 5 out of 74 ratings on this bad boy. Right. So doesn't have a ton of ratings, but or a ton of check-ins. So that just kind of tells me that this is maybe this is the first time that they brewed it. It was a limited thing because again, there hasn't been a check-in in 3 months on this. That guy was safe.
But all right, so I went to the brewery. It's a very small brewery. It's on, like, if you want to call it Main Street, right? It's actually on, what is it? It's Sutterth. That's the name of the road. Like, it kind of goes through town and whatnot.
Okay.
So Lost Hiker Brewing, this is their tap room, 2536 Sutterth Drive, Ruidoso, New Mexico. It's a really cool little place. It's not a big tap room. When you walk in, the funny thing is you're walking down, there's shops and stuff like that. And there's all of a sudden you see like it's a glass and it says, Lost Hiker and a little blue door.
Okay.
And so when you pop in, you can sit at the bar and there's probably, I don't know, 15 seats there at the bar. Then there's some other little tables, like little 2 or 4 top tables. Really cool little joint. They had some good tunes going too. I was like, man, this playing Red Dirt music from Texas, whatever. So, but ended up talking to a dude that just he goes like, "Where y'all from?" We're from Dallas, whatever. He goes, I moved. I'm here from Dallas. He goes, I moved here like 10 years ago
for this brewery,
not for the damn brewery, but he's like
a cooler story.
But he's like, he came out here once,
right?
And he's like,
just loved it and just said,
yeah, it's a cool little mountain town. But anyways, let me top you off just real quick, bud.
Well, let me take a swig first. Let me take a swig first.
Come on.
And you can put some more in.
Come on.
I'm not objecting to it, but I need to get some of this beer in my mouth.
All right. Yeah, it looks good. Right?
A good thing.
Yeah. So you had it out there that it's a West Coast IPA.
Pale ale.
West Coast pale. Okay. Because it
says Classic American West Coast Pale Ale.
Okay. Yeah. Sparky. This is Sparky's Pale Ale. It's American Pale Ale according to the website losthikerbrewing.com. Sparky is a dog. We love that dog. We also love this beer. Sparky drinks water. This is a smooth American Pale Ale that can also be a lap dog.
Okay.
So,
and that's that 5.9% alcohol by volume, right?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. I mean, usually something like a pale ale, you're going to go a little bit higher on.
It's got that kind of dry taste you'll get with a pale ale.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty tasty though.
Yeah. It's very cool. I love that color.
The color is pretty nice
because it almost starts turning over to like where it's an amber ale or something like that, where it starts moving.
Red.
Yeah, because it's got that copper color real to it, and it is slight hazy. I mean, only because it's just the clarity's not there, but it looks amazing. Like you can see through it, but it's just not, it doesn't have the clarity.
No, but that's because of the color, right?
Mm-hmm. So and then, yeah, I just decided to get a.
Smells good.
Let me get that crowler. You know what I mean? It's like, well, what beer you want? And so we had this. We had a couple of these. Went to this brewery probably 2 or 3 times while we were there.
Okay.
We were there for almost a week. So I popped into the other brewery that's there. They have 2 right there on the main road, and I like the vibes here. A little bit lower key, chill. If you just want to get a beer, it's not like you're walking, hey Norm, whatever. But it was like it gave those vibes, right? Where you just like you want to sit there and have a beer. Not a lot of kids and shit running around in the background or anything like that. It was just like you can sit there and just chill.
Yeah. That was so I went out of town this last week. It was in Mineral Wells, and there's a brewery that I went to there that was almost kind of like that low key vibe. It wasn't real big. It was right there off the main strip of the city. It's mostly bar seating, and then just kind of around the edge, it's got some tables and stuff like that. No kids or anything like that. So really only went by there once to just get some beer to go. Because it was a trip with the kiddo, but was real cool. I'll talk about it more during like the main show. So if you've watched the main show, by the time you've seen this, you've heard me talk about it. But yeah, that was kind of like that vibe that brewery had, where it was just kind of like just a cool place to go and chill at. They actually had like a little band in there.
Oh yeah,
it's like it was like, and it was almost kind of like they playing almost kind of like folk type music, like just kind of chill music where you just kind of chill, enjoy yourself, drink a beer. Seemed like a real cool spot to go and hang out at. Unfortunately, it was a kid trip, so we didn't go.
There we go.
Yeah.
Hey Luna.
But
hey babe.
But yeah.
There you go. This is that's that pale ale that you like so much. So Lizzie actually picked this beer out.
Okay.
Because I was like, well, what beer should we do? And she was drinking pale ales. I think that I don't know if they had a hazy or nothing like that. So she's like, you know what? This one's what's up, babe? We're not live anymore.
It's
just
recorded.
Quick beer review.
Recorded.
Quick beer review.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but I was like, what do you think? And she's like, I really like this one. So
you get it.
It's just on their tap room. There are some different ones up there. I think when we were there, they probably had, like 8 beers, or something like that. They got a Mr. White. It's a Belgian white session.
That can on that Mr. White's pretty cool.
Dude, it's dope.
Heisenberg.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
That
one on the right looks really cool.
A Dunkel, not your uncle's Dunkel.
That one looks pretty cool.
Snow Apocalypse, I think I had that one as well. That was the cool thing when I went to these breweries. I was like, Joe, just give me one of everything. I'll just do flights. And they're like, you want one of? I'm from out of town. I was like, I actually just want to make sure I can try them all. And I'm going to check them all in too.
Yeah.
And so I was kind of going through them. Now some of these have obviously changed. Like summer, they didn't have summer from hell or anything like that when I was there.
Right.
They had their winter beers. It was still February. So, but yeah, I had all these. It was really good. The selection was fine. I didn't really have any gripes or anything about the place. I really liked it. Like I said, the beer tender there was real. Like 2 times I went, we had one different one each time. So it was, one the first time, one the second time. They were just real nice. I'm like, can people just be nice, huh? Okay,
that's it.
That's it.
That's it, man.
But yeah, they had a pretty nice selection. Like I said, I think it was like 6 to 8 beers. And went through them. Obviously, their website's turned over since then because of the fact it's summertime. Come on, this is 4 months ago. But really cool place, really cool town. It's kind of a drive for us, like 7 hours if you're booking it, doing 90 all the way there. But it was cool. We got to go through Roswell. Had a lot of fun at Black Cock Brewing, which I had 0 of their beers because they only had other beers on tap. Remember I told you that story?
Yeah.
That was a wild night.
That's weird.
That was a wild night.
I know.
Hanging out there. But we made it out there to Ruidoso. It's a really cool little place. I should have went earlier because it kind of dried up a little bit and the weather was a little bit warmer, which is kind of weird for February. I thought it was going to be like perfect. I was like, man, it's going to be cold in February, man. Snow everywhere, all that kind of stuff. Nah, it was all dried up, kind of, unless you're up on the mountain, or they had another little area for like kids and like families and stuff like that. Like,
right.
Yeah, I was like, go down on a tube and stuff like that. I'm like, okay, that's what I want to do. I was like, I had my bib. I mean, I was ready to roll. And then it's like insanely packed.
I've been to New Mexico once. I went to a Boy Scout camp out there. Philmont. It's a big
stargazing out that way.
Oh, we did definitely, but I went out there for a cavalcade. Rode a horse through the mountains for a week, and there's a big, huge, tall mountain out there called Mount Baldy. that we hiked up. And when you get to the top, it's just covered in snow.
Oh yeah.
And this was July when we went, right? And that's the cool thing. Like when you get to those tall mountains, those places with the high elevations, you'll be out there in July, but you got snow's everywhere,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But yeah, I had a good time. You know, I think I was like 16, 17 at the time.
That was one of my favorite trips, I think, because I haven't been to the mountains in a long time. Like I went to Alaska, and that was pretty much
been a minute.
The most mountainous area I've ever been. Right, I'm from the hills of Kentucky, right, where there's hills and all that kind of stuff, where there's no mountains, but still it's so beautiful. And when I was driving out there, you know, I had Lizzie and Tilly, they're both passed out, you know, whatever, and I'm just like, it's the most gorgeous place I've ever been in my life.
We were in Mineral Wells this last week, and it's gorgeous out there in Mineral Wells, and that's just over an hour away. And the hills and the mountains out there. Like at one point we were driving to, there was a house that a lot of the coaches were staying at. 3 of them, they all got one big house. It was the party house that we went to one night, and we're driving out there, and like on the side of the road, we saw a spider like this big,
Jesus,
walking across the road. Like I was like, this, like everything was cool until I saw, but like it was one of those where I'm doing like 50 as I'm going down this, and it's winding,
and
right?
Just turn 40. A little bit,
but it's like you're driving by, and you're not quite sure what you see as you're driving up on it, and then as you kind of get closer, but you're also swerving away because you don't know what it is, so you don't want to run it over and then get a flat tire. And as I'm kind of passing, I'm like, that was a spider. Had I known,
run it over,
I would have ran that over.
Yeah, a lot of wildlife out there, which I guess I'm not used to, like obviously big game or anything like that, but here, you know, we have coyotes, bobcats, and stuff like that. You know, it's just always some shit running around. But out there, you know, it's like out there hanging out with Tilly one night, and I was like,
careful with Tilly out there.
Well, I was worried about bears. Didn't see any black bears, anything like that, but I saw like a caribou deer. I think, it wasn't a caribou, it was a mule deer. I think is what it was. So it was probably like a little bit as tall than I was. And so the mom deer's head, she poked her head out around the cabin, and I go, and so Tilly was already growling. She already knew it was there. And I'm like, oh, let's everybody be cool here, because I don't have guns in the house.
But also, like when you're in those areas like that, right?
Yeah,
they're used to. You're not going to scare them off.
Yeah, I just sat there and I just played it cool. Yeah. I wasn't trying to like bang. Like I know how to handle, like, say, like with black bears and stuff like that, right? You make noise, you clap your hands and shit like that. Or if you got pots and pans, you put whatever, bear mace. But like with this one, it was like, it's not really an intelligent animal, I don't think. It just kind of like roaming around, most like deer, right? Deer are just dumb. But it's the thing is, this thing's huge. And so I was like, all right, everybody be cool. There's a deck between us. I got to get around, you know, whatever. And I was like, Lizzie, come check out this damn thing. It just walks right across the street, goes into a whole nother little area. And then to their little dumbass, you know, whatever, small deer,
baby
deer come out, and they fucking
I believe that's what you call venison.
Yeah. I was like, all right, stupid, go ahead. But yeah, I mean, that thing was bigger than our car. You know what I mean? It was it was huge. I was like, Jesus. But that's one thing I was worried about. And so we saw like a pack of like wolves, and we saw wild horses and shit.
Mess with wolves.
Oh no, hell no.
No. Like that.
They're hanging out down next to the river, in this one little area. And Liz like, what the fuck is that? I'm like, you got to, and there was wild horses coming through down the road.
And those wolves, and you're just like, just back up slowly and watch them so you see what they're doing.
You just want to start shooting. Anyways,
just get out here. Cheers, miles and miles of good things.
Yeah, cheers.
That is really good. And like one thing, I was talking to some of the other parents and stuff this last week, and we were talking about pale ales and just how damn tasty a pale ale is.
Oh yeah,
like this is right there in the vein. Like if you like Sierra Nevada Pale Ale, which is a fantastic beer, this is in that same vein. Yeah. And I would put this in that same category, and especially as like deliciousness, like how good it is. I'm probably sitting at like a 3.75 on this one. Really enjoy it. Think it's just delicious. I like that dryness, that little paleness that you get at the end of it. That just kind of hangs out the back of your mouth.
Yeah, it's a different brew, right? Like pale ales are just, they have that different aftertaste where it's dry. It just like,
and I don't feel like people do enough pale ales. Like honestly,
yeah, I enjoy it. Like we went hazy so hard, and so I think the market as well. Everybody's kind of doing hazy or whatever, or they were completely against it and they did lagers.
Right.
But I like a nice variety when I go into a place to check it out. And this place had a good, great selection. I'll say a 4 because I went there and I had a blast. The
So
the
you're going to
vibe.
factor the ambiance.
I am. I'm going to factor in the
taste of this beer.
ambiance.
Okay. All right.
I'm going to factor in the whole vibe. I was out there.
Okay.
I was out there hanging out in the wilderness for
Yeah.
a couple days.
Just roughing it. You're like, hey, look at me. I'm Bear Grylls, mother.
Well, the first day I got there, I was kind of hungover, so we just watched Lord of the Rings, like all 3 of them. But after that,
man,
it was like she didn't want to get and
regular or extended versions.
They were all on HBO, whatever the hell.
So probably regular.
So, but yeah, I mean that's like 9 hours, and I couldn't believe Lizzie was like, she goes, let's just sit on the couch and chill. And so we sat on the couch and chilled. Tilly's running around, take her out outside every so often or whatever. We didn't even use we didn't use the hot tub or nothing because I was like, you're gonna get some wild animal roll up on you.
It felt like you were getting ready to say I didn't even use the bathroom or anything. Just kind of let it go, man.
So, but yeah, dude, this place is amazing. Lost Hiker, Ruidoso, New Mexico. Pop in and just get you what? It's a really cool joint. It's off the main road, and they make really good beer.
Yeah, and if you're watching this and you go there, just walk in there and be like, hey, Strike Up Beer sent me, and they'll be like, okay, cool. Why do I care? But, have you ever had Lost Hiker beers before? Let us know. Maybe you're from the area and you're like, hey, no, that's a really good place.
It is.
Just tell us. As always, guys, I'm Alan.
I'm RD.
Talk to you later. Deuces.